Labor Day, September 4th, 2005, ushered in a season filled with promise as Orphans Overseas prepared to lead a team of 62 people from Sunset Church in Portland, Oregon to Kisumu, Kenya, in the heart of the African bush. Their goal? Bringing hope to a community ravaged by the AIDS pandemic. Although the team was shaken when Jory Kincaid experienced a car accident in Kenya while preparing for the team's arrival, the mission trip was powerful. The community in Africa experienced an outpouring of love that had ignited people to travel halfway around the globe to encourage them face to face. Yet, because circumstances with the church and its pastor in Kenya were not as they appeared, it became apparent that Orphans Overseas could not continue this relationship. Still, Orphans Overseas believed that God had called them into Kenya to build a community of love and support for children orphaned as devastation from AIDS penetrated the continent of Africa. They prayed for guidance.
I think it is really helpful when you can partner with another organization. The fact that you can do something with somebody who is very well established, has a reputation, has the network and an institution in place already, that can be really valuable. So that would be my prayer and my hope for Orphans Overseas. I had met Major Ken Hodder when he was in Portland with the Salvation Army and knew that he had been assigned to Kenya. And Ken is a man of great resource and compassion and organizational skills and abilities, and so I knew that he would take a personal interest, and I thought it would be valuable for Orphans Overseas to have a connection in Kenya.
It's important that they were able to team up with the right people, and there's no one better to team up with in Kenya than the Salvation Army. It is immensely well respected there. It is a great organization, good leadership. This world is a very connected world, and sometimes when you put two like-minded, Christ-centered people together, wonderful things can happen.
In June 2006, Jory felt compelled to return to Kenya with prayers that she could fulfill her dream to help children orphaned in a continent ravaged by AIDS. She met with Colonel Ken Hodder, whom only months before had moved from Portland to oversee the work of the Salvation Army in Kenya.
The Salvation Army was founded in 1865 by William Booth in the East End of London. It is a part of the Christian church. Everything that the Salvation Army does is motivated by our love for God and our belief that God has called us to reach out to those who are in the greatest need around the world. Representatives from Orphans Overseas came last year. We felt it was a great opportunity to show them what was possible, to dream along with them as to what might be accomplished, and to talk about ways that we could work together. There are women, there are children, there are boys and girls who desperately need what Orphans Overseas and the Salvation Army can bring to them. And if just a few children have their lives transformed as a result of this partnership, we'll consider it a great success. The Salvation Army knows that there's a lot to do here in Kenya, and we believe there's a lot to be done in the name of Christ, and that's precisely what we're doing now.
Overlooking the panoramic 10 acres near the Chania River, blessed with municipal water and electricity, and seeing the 6 buildings that looked as though they were designed for the program Orphans Overseas had envisioned, Jory was overwhelmed at the offer before her to use this property in partnership under the umbrella of the Salvation Army, complete with a grant to begin renovations and to implement the first year of operations. She could realize her dream of making a difference in children whose lives were forever altered by the AIDS crisis. Orphans Overseas could now reach out to these youngest and most vulnerable victims of the AIDS pandemic, those orphaned, with an integrative and preventive approach, doing those things it does best. Bringing hope to unborn babies carried by moms whose lives are affected by AIDS, babies abandoned because of this crisis, children with disabilities who often become street kids, and children living on the street because there is no one left to care for them.